Hello, people. Welcome back. My name is Armando from Bomberos on Fire podcast and Fire Rescue Company. Before we start, I want to say thank you to everybody who listen, watch it, link, share, all the good stuff. Thank you so much from Europe, from South America. We will put subtitles in Spanish, so those people don't speak English. And before, like I said, when we start, please subscribe, like, share all those things that you see on YouTube and all those places. That's all I can say. And thank you so much for support. Hopefully we continue doing this. Today I'm with somebody really special, an expert on a subject that I'm actually interested because I might have it, and I don't know, maybe. Yeah, you maybe can diagnose me from that. I got Cassidy. She's from Kansas. And if you don't mind, introduce yourself and tell who you are, and we go from there. I know. Yes. And it's a subject I think, like we talked before, nobody talks about it because we all assume that we have some type of ADHD and we're on the spectrum somewhere to do our job.
You hear that?
You hear a lot.
Yeah.
So, how do you know a firefighter or have that ADHD? And can you explain what is that? Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. So when we think of ADHD characteristics and the role or job description of a firefighter or a first responder, it kind of makes sense that there's that natural fit to one and the other. So we know that being a first responder, it's very fast paced, the high intensity environment, and this draws in ADHDers. And it's not that an ADHDer, you become one because you're a first responder. So it's not like, hey, I'm a firefighter now and I've developed ADHD. ADHD is neurodevelopmental, so you've had it all along since you were born. But what might happen is when you become a firefighter or a first responder, you start noticing maybe more of the symptoms and signs. And so when we think of the role as a firefighter or first responder, it's that high stimulation. You know, your job a lot of times has that high stimulation. And so to an ADHDer, this keeps them engaged, it keeps their brain engaged. And then the physical activity, it's hands-on. ADHDers love that. They can't fathom working at a mundane job. You know, personally, I do have ADHD, so just thinking about working on like a factory line or working in an office from 8 to 5, like I get the ick. Like I cringe at just thinking about that. So knowing that there's a lot of physical activity as a first responder, it's eye appealing for an ADHDer. And also that sense of purpose that comes with being a first responder. ADHDers a lot of times are deeply empathetic and they love helping others. So they kind of go well together. And then that clear structure and protocols that first responders have to follow, that a lot of times helps ADHDers with their executive functioning struggles. So just kind of going over these right now, it just makes sense that they're a natural fit for one another.
Yeah. That's true. So I might have it actually, to be honest.
Maybe.
So what are the symptoms and signs that you see that this guy or this gal has some type of ADHD? And there is one type, or just you get diagnosed with that and that's it?
So it's changed over the years. You have ADHD predominantly inattentive type, or you have ADHD predominantly hyperactivity impulsivity type, or the combined type. They used to call it ADD. Everyone knows, clinicians know exactly what that still is, but that's the inattentive type opposed to the hyperactivity impulsivity part side of it. And so when we think of ADHD, or a first responder comes in and is curious that they have it, a big sign is the distractibility. So zoning out, overlooking small details, but very important details, which can be problematic. And then maybe missing radio calls or this is a huge one, not getting reports done on time or taking a long time to get the reports done because there's too much chatter or they're looking elsewhere or just easily distracted from whatever's going on.
Squirrel, basically.
Yeah, the squirrel moment. That's a good way to explain
That's what
it.
I can't imagine that. See a squirrel and we get distracted after. Yeah.
Right. And then, like I was saying, the impulsivity side. So a lot of times acting without maybe thinking or, without that filter piece, that can get people in trouble, especially if you're not aware of it.
We have a lot of no filter people in the fire service and especially military fire service and police. Yeah, we got no filter. You're probably used to our sense of humor, probably.
Yeah, so speaking without a filter, rushing through procedures, maybe just trying to get through it all.
Yeah, you describing a typical firefighter. Maybe. And that's crazy. Is the lack of sleep, lack of exercise, bad food intake, that helps to like awake that, I guess, sense or that special power?
It would intensify ADHD symptoms. If you're not getting adequate sleep, that's a problem. That affects your cognitive abilities, your reactionary time, just being cognitively sharp. It's going to have a negative impact on that for sure. And another common symptom of ADHD that one might notice is time management issues. So maybe you're running late. Maybe you don't see that.
Yeah, at all. Yeah, we're horrible on that. Oh my God. Yeah.
Struggling.
We get there, basically.
Do what?
We say all the time, we get there when we get there, or we adapt and overcome. That's our one of the few, you probably heard it a lot.
Yeah.
We adapt and overcome, we figure out on the moment, we winging it. Just because the incident is what's going on in the scene.
Yeah.
But that also translates to our life, and that's when it gets the problem. I imagine.
Yeah, it can definitely cause a lot of problems in different realms of one's life. Struggling with deadlines is another time management issue. They have to complete a task or something, and they struggle with turning it in all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes. I can see that. A lot of guys too. You're really describing somebody's guy on the station or girl on the station, so.
Well, I hope so. I hope this is eye-opening for some, because then that gives them a reason to further investigate this and look further into it and get tested to see if this is what's going on.
And what type of test you take to the, hey, you know what, I got this?
Yeah, so it really depends on the clinician. Clinicians who do testing, their batteries differ. And so what I do recommend is actually getting tested and not just going to fill out a couple reports or questionnaires. Because on paper, it definitely can look like, let's say, ADHD, but it might not be because there are other things that could mimic or look like ADHD.
Like what?
So, one, anxiety, being hypervigilant.
That's true.
On edge, that can look like, the impulsivity, hyperactivity piece, and also interfere with their ability to sustain attention. Trauma is another one that can sometimes mimic certain characteristics of ADHD. Now, the thing is, you can still have comorbid diagnoses with ADHD, but that's the beauty of testing, is just to really see what is going on here. And that's going to give the most accurate information to a first responder, just so that they know what's going on and know how to deal with it.
And how do you, because I have no idea how you do it, but how do you test somebody, or what type of question you ask people? Hey, you might have this diagnosis. What do you ask?
So it starts with a clinical interview, and this is going to be very in-depth, going over as far as mom's pregnancy with you. What did that look like? What did your infant years look like? What did your toddler years look like? What did, starting from preschool to, 12th grade, college, and so on. Looking at behaviors and just kind of getting a timeline of the individual and their life. and just getting a scope into that and see what was going on and such. And you can usually follow a pattern of what's going on. So the clinical interview is very, very important. And then, of course, you'll do some questionnaires. That's a given, to see what symptoms they're experiencing and such. I like to look at processing speed and working memory a lot of times just to see how they're doing there. And because sometimes with ADHD, you will see an individual who struggles with their processing speed and working memory, but not always. But it's good to get insight into that with testing. And then I also like to do collateral information. So looking at maybe what parents say about you growing up, or if it's a kiddo, talking to a teacher, getting their input about how they behave in different settings and in different environments, and to see, is this translating in all environments? Are they behaving in similar ways in all environments, essentially?
Okay. Well, yeah, it makes sense. You need like a holistic kind of approach, I guess.
Yeah, you definitely have to do that. Get a full picture.
Yeah, because you can't just, to me, you cannot just diagnose or pinpoint with just one information. You need the whole piece, especially in psychology. That's interesting. And what type of treatments do people with that diagnosis has or will have?
So it really is unique to the individual. So if we're talking about a younger kid, that deals with accommodations at school and such. A lot of times for adults, if they want to go back to school or at their work, maybe they can have some accommodations implemented. Others sometimes get on medication and they can find that helpful.
Adderall.
Did you say Adderall?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a popular one. There's a few other stimulants and non-stimulants too.
Yep.
But we have to be careful with those too, because sometimes individuals can get addicted to them.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And the thing with medications for ADHD as well is it can be super helpful. It can be. But also individuals need to learn how to cope with their ADHD, compensate for their challenges. So a lot of it depends on the individual working with their ADHD.
Okay. And what type of coping mechanism can somebody implement or you teach or to the person, to your patients?
Yeah, so let's see. If it's distractibility, one way, let's say that you're distracted on the job. One way to help yourself stay in the moment is like repetition. So repeating key information out loud to yourself. So whatever that may be.
Really?
Like if you're like let's say you're going on a call or you got a call and you're like just repeating to yourself that, okay, you're going to blah, blah, blah for this reason, cardiac arrest. Like just so that it clicks in your head that's what you're doing, because, a lot of things are going on. And if you're getting distracted, you're not remembering like the end goal is like, oh, I'm going to this call that is for a cardiac arrest.
Yeah, no, it happened to me, but more like a lack of sleep.
That too.
I was working in a place that used to take 20 to 19 calls a shift on 24 hours. Because in Florida, we are firefighters and paramedics. So we also do the EMS. I don't know how in Kansas, but
Right.
I was in the station here in Orlando, Orange County, and I did like 20 calls in 24 hours, probably. EMS. Everything's a blur. Let's start from there. I don't remember anything that day. I remember that I get to the station and I left the station. I remember how I go home. In some of the calls, I got cardiac arrest, stabbing, shooting, and I don't remember. I told the guys to wake me up when you get to the incident, and I just go to sleep on the ambulance or rescue, how we call it here. Yeah, and wake me up. Cool. Cardiac arrest, it's working. So yeah, I can feel that. Yeah, I have to remind myself, hey, I'm going to the call. All right, this is let me get 3 minutes of sleep.
So that was a good skill for you to utilize in that moment, but it's also unfortunate.
Oh, it's horrible.
In that circumstance.
Yeah, gladly I'm able to transfer to another fire department, which is more easy, peace, and quiet in that aspect. Because I was in a point in my life that I will quit the fire department completely or go to nursing or go to another fire department. And I was able to move to another one and which happens to be in one of the busiest places in the world. Why? Kind of Disney World.
Yeah.
Yes. So I got a lot of people, way too many for my taste.
What an interesting show.
It is interesting going behind scenes between all the parks, and yeah, the magic for Disney just went away because you see the real people behind the suits, and like, no, I don't want. Yeah, you see the magic behind the. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a true look.
But it's awesome job. I can't complain at all. Yeah. Hey, when you come to Florida, you can hey, anytime you want, visit us. When I went to go to the station.
I definitely love Florida.
Oh, the weather is amazing.
The weather compared to here, we just had like a blizzard last week, and now it's sunny and all the snow's melted.
No, I can't do the frozen hose. No. I deal with my heat over 100 and something.
Yeah.
Heat index.
Yeah. I wish.
You will one day.
Midwest.
One day, and yeah, one day. And what make you go? Because I know you have to take psychology, probably you got a degree. What make you go straight to first responders? What because you can choose any population community you want, but you chose first responder.
I did, yes. And honestly, I don't know if I would be a therapist if I didn't want this population. The more I do it and stuff, I really feel connected to this population. So originally what got me interested was in my, I think it was undergrad school. I had an FBI professor who was my teacher, and he was trying to push me to go into the police academy here in Kansas City. And I was like, oh.
What?
Because I originally wanted to be an FBI agent, and so he was trying to guide me. I was like, here's the thing. Kudos to them. I don't know if I would run into it. I might be running out of it. And so what I did was I went on a ride along, got the experience, just kind of seeing what they go through and whatnot. And the amount of adrenaline was so exciting. So I kind of understand why already is so excited in the beginning, especially if they have ADHD, because it's like this dopamine hit, this adrenaline rush,
kick in,
this excitement. But also, I kind of noticed the lack of services for responders and mental health crises and the stigma. And I always loved psychology. That was my undergrad. So go to law school. And I'm glad I did it. But that led me to getting my master's in psychology with an emphasis in psychological assessments. And I had to take the EPPP, which is the PhD exam, in order to do psych testing at all levels. So I have two different licensures. I have my LPC, which is your licensed professional counseling license, and then I have my LMLP, which is your licensed masteral psychologist license. And so I can do all tiers of testing under my LMLP license, but I can't under my counseling license. So that's kind of why I did those two different avenues.
Oh, okay. Makes sense, yeah.
And so as a therapist, you need to find a specialty. And I come from a huge military family, and just seeing some of the overlap between military and first responders, and just having that exposure and understanding the culture, the dark humor, I just feel really, drawn to this population. And that's how I chose my specialty, and it is going fabulous.
Awesome.
Yeah, the coaching.
You're few. Let me tell you something. You're one of the few. I interview a lot of people, but there are few psychologists, counselors in that you call the field that specialize in first responders. There are few. In Florida, we got more than than anybody else. I don't know, because we're big into mental health. But I'm glad that people like you are interested in helping us, not just firefighters, like you said, military, police, paramedics, nurses. I mean, we go through a lot of crap in 20 years, or 25 or 30, or whatever amount we do. And some of us don't survive.
Yeah.
They don't make it to the end. Yeah, one of the reasons why I created this podcast is because when I created, in 2023, I think so, 3 firefighters die back to back in 3 months straight in Florida. And I found out that one of the top 5 data or killing firefighters is suicide. Yeah. Cancer, heart, we're all fat, we got cancer, but that's fine. We cannot deal with mental health. And it's the truth. And it's killing us. It's killing us. The past 3 months in Florida, at least 1 suicide a month, a first responder. Some guy actually belonged to the peer support team and was the general regional manager, peer support team in Florida. He committed suicide. So, and one of the guys, when I started the podcast, that committed suicide, I knew him. I was his preceptor at some point. I don't even remember, but I knew him kind of. And that's when I started the podcast. So, you know what? I need to get it out because I'm a talker and I can talk shit all day long. So let's talk to people to see, because everybody have a story, everybody has something. And if I can bring experts like you, at least someone can listen to this and take the first step, which is acknowledge, hey, I got a problem. And with that, how do you deal? Because we are not open. Straight over that. We don't want to talk about it. We think mental health is weak. The majority. We think that this is BS and I can just shut it in my brain, put it in a little box inside, and keep the next call and I go home. So how do you make those guys and girls open to talk to you and or do an assessment? Because we are not easy to deal with, as you probably know.
You said it. But it boils down, I think, initially to the therapeutic relationship, honestly. So having a first responder feel connected, heard, validated by their clinician, who's culturally competent as well in this population, is vital to having success in therapy. It is, I would say, the most critical piece. And also, a lot of times, they might not experience that right off the bat. And so let's say you do a couple sessions and you don't feel that connection with the therapist. It is perfectly fine to try a different one and a different one. My advice is just don't give up, because I promise there's somebody out there that you are going to connect well with. And so do research into the clinician to see what their expertise is. And if you feel like, yeah, that person would probably understand me very well. But again, if it doesn't work out, that's okay. It's kind of like shopping around. Like, just keep looking, for somebody. I would say also encouraging them if they're reporting, life sucks, this isn't going well, or my relationship's struggling, encouraging them to take accountability and responsibility and to implement changes. Because without change, nothing changes. And so I think that realistic point connects well with first responders, because a lot of times they're realists and they don't want things sugar-coated. And so coming from that approach a lot of times helps them to open their eyes and see where the changes are that they can actually implement in their life for the change.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, because we can smell the BS from far away. That's something we're good at it. We can tell you when it's BS.
Yep, your bullshit meter's good.
Oh, 100%. Because that's what we do every day. Like, we go to medical call and some people actually need help, and some people just BS to get out of work or get out of the environment, or they hide something else besides what's going on. And that's what we literally train every day.
Yeah. And also, kudos to you for starting this podcast as well to help spread awareness and such. That's how it started, for others to recognize, behaviors and signs within them, and just raising awareness overall. Yeah,
thank you. I got the opportunity to talk to somebody in Poland. He's captain on the fire, because in Poland is only one fire department for the whole country. Just imagine that. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So the fire chief is literally God, and everybody else just fall into rank. Oh yeah. Yeah. But I talked to them when I was in Poland, because I like traveling, as you probably know, I've seen the picture and stuff. And I talked to them about mental health. And they said they don't talk about it at all. So they don't know how many people suicide. They deal with that base to base on the station, but they don't talk about it. I don't know if it's a culture. The same in South America. They don't. They just drink or smoke or cheat on the wife or the husband.
Yeah, and that always turns out well, doesn't it?
Yeah. So pretty much that's the treatment that I see around. And we are lucky here in the States that we got at least the tools to find help. Maybe we don't use the tools, but we have the tools.
Right. Absolutely. And, with me also adding the coaching piece to my business, that has helped me expand my services significantly. Because I feel like the way of the world today is through social media. And so that's how people find people nowadays. And with a license, you're only typically licensed within that state. And so if you have first responders, firefighters in rural areas, it's harder for them to find somebody in their area that specializes in first responders.
Yeah, it's hard.
Allowing, having this coaching business has allowed me to expand my services significantly to see those first responders in rural areas or in areas that they don't have a first responder therapists.
And how that, I mean, in the same state of Kansas, or you can be all around the United States? How that works?
States.
Really?
Yes. Clients all around the United States. And honestly, some in different countries too that have reached out for services.
Really? Which countries? Because I'm curious about it.
Yeah, well, the UK is a popular one, and then South Africa and
Sweden.
Yeah.
Huh. That's really interesting.
Yeah, feels really good.
Oh, I bet you reach literally helping around the world without even trying that much. That is awesome. So, let's say somebody who listens to a podcast here in Florida want to contact you on your coaching. What is different between coaching and therapist?
Good question. So with therapy, it's going to be more about, I would say, childhood traumas or dealing with diagnoses. So coaching isn't about diagnosing. It's more on the here and now, what's going on, what issues are you facing, and how can we make them better, and also future oriented. So if you have like certain goals you want to obtain or work towards, like let's get you to that point. Whereas therapy is more, like I said, diving into the past or healing childhood wounds. And so coaching is more the here and now and moving forward. If that makes sense.
Yeah, makes a little sense. And therapist is limited to the state, at least in the United States, or you can treat outside Kansas?
So there's a couple, it depends on what your license is, but mostly it is within the state. There are some packs where some states recognize it, so you might be licensed to see other clients in maybe 20 other states, but it's not, there's borders per se. Whereas coaching, there's no borders. The thing to be cautious with coaches is to do your research to make sure that they do have some sort of credibility, because technically anyone can call themselves a coach.
Yes.
So you've got to be wary of that. But don't use that as a reason not to go see a coach. Just do a little bit of your own research to see if this person's legit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of I'm an NLP coach, and dude just took an online class for you pay $50 in Academy. Come on, bro.
Yeah, it's becoming more popular. You're seeing clinicians open up coaching businesses and such because, between therapy and coaching, it's a little bit different, and not everybody wants to do therapy. And so that kind of opens the door for coaching. And so that's been beneficial for a lot of clinicians.
Yeah. And your reach is worldwide. That's the impressive part.
Exactly. And what is the purpose of being a clinician is to, expand your services and help others and help people. And so when you have people inquiring from all around and you can't help them, I mean, it's not a good feeling. So having that ability to expand your services and help others, especially in rural areas, is a good thing.
Oh, yeah, especially rural areas, because those guys are by themselves, literally. The next, I'm talking more like a tactic firefighter, like, those, but if you get a fire in the middle of nowhere, you have to wait like an hour, sometimes to 45 minutes to get another crew or another engine to actually help you out. And I'm talking about medical calls. Yeah. And then something could happen and somebody could die, and then you can become another number on OSHA and NIOSH and FBA.
Yeah. There's a lot of additional stressors living in the rural area.
Yeah. And if somebody wants to contact you for the coach business, how do they do that? Where you are?
Yeah. So, of course, a lot of people reach through Instagram at cassidi.dye. And also I have my LinkedIn on there, so I have a couple different websites depending on what services they're seeking for testing or coaching.
Yeah.
And it's a website. You just put in your information. I get it straight to my phone. I usually respond, well, when I see it, which is usually within an hour or two. And then I just have them fill out the paperwork. And next thing you know, within a few days, they have an appointment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I will put your contact for Instagram on the description, regardless, so people can reach you. Hopefully, someone, because it's not just in the U.S., it's all around the world. I wish I can introduce you to the Polish Fire Department, Croatian Fire Department. Trust me, they need a mental health. It's a huge section.
Yes.
I was talking to she's a German EMS instructor. And her office is on the border with Netherlands. So you can see Netherlands from her office. It's insane. Yeah. So, and she said that paramedic school is 3 years in Germany, 1 year and a half, EMS, all the procedures and skills, and then a year on communication and mental health. So you got 3 years, yeah, and that's different. Like here, at least in Florida, is 1 year of EMS, and then you out on the wild, and hopefully you don't kill yourself or kill somebody else.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, huh?
Yes. And I don't even talking about Fire Academy. They don't even. Just a go for 5, 6 months or a year or 2 years, and you might be 19, 18 years old kid going to a house fire or bringing somebody dead or burned. To the crispy. Like, you 19, 18.
Right.
I actually started working in the medical field and EMS in another country.
Okay.
Yeah, my accent kind of gave it away. Yeah, it's a little accent, but I do speak Spanish, Portuguese, and English. Okay. So I'm from Venezuela, down South America, and I worked there as a paramedic and technical rescue for years. And then I immigrate to the United States. Now I'm a gringo. I'm just like y'all. I got my blue passport. And since I got here, I've been, working on my way to get back into the EMS and fire. And now I've been as a fireman in the U.S. for almost 10 years. And paramedic for like 15, I don't know. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I spent some time in the jungle as a paramedic in Venice, in Amazon jungle. That was a trip. They don't talk about mental health at all.
I was going to ask you, between the two, what's the biggest differences?
I will say, as cliche sounds, rules, regulations, SOPs, procedures. Down South America is a Wild West. Make it happen. That's it. Here, you got your protocols, you got your license. I cannot do this because my license allows me to. Over there, a paramedic and suture can do whatever he wants on the field, and yeah, and it's okay and it's fine. Yeah. But also lack of resources, like the equipment. Yeah. Like I know in South America, where I come from, they share the SCBA or the breathing apparatus. We put something on their mask with the air tank. They share it in Venezuela. So if I go into a fire, you inhale all the smoke, and that's fine. That's part of the culture.
Wow. So
yeah.
They're probably a lot higher than here.
Yeah, but nobody follow up with data, so we don't know. You never know. No. Yeah, if you never write it down, it never happen.
Yep. Which I will say too, the suicides here are probably underreported as well.
Really?
In the first responder. But also on my platform, I will just put this out there. I have been restricted because I utilize the word suicide too much. And so I like to think I'm a realist. And so I want to use the word for what it is. But
so you can't
do that. So I should be out of jail, I think, next month.
You're in jail? Oh,
yeah. So they
good
don't
for you.
My content to non-followers or on the Explore page anymore because I utilize the word too often. And that's been annoying. But we have to change the wording to
which is stupid.
It's so stupid.
I know, because I've been in jail too, and Facebook and Instagram jail. Oh yeah, I got my time too, girl.
How was your?
The only
sentence?
A month and a half, I think so.
It's 3 months.
Oh my god! What you said? You said it 3 times.
Suicide. Yeah. Well, because I'm raising awareness. Hello, that's what my page is for.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't like that word, and I guess they didn't look at the context, for the post.
3 months?
Videos. And so, yeah, and I can't do a live, which I don't do that anyway, for 1 year.
1 year?
1 year.
Damn, you go hit hard.
I know.
Just for the word.
Yes, right.
Yeah, I got my contact. One of my contacts got pulled out because I said the word, and I said we need to stop committing suicide. We need to stop doing this. This is. And one time I put one of the clips. I put a background song, the copyright.
Oh, yeah.
Which is stupid because it's a TikTok song, but when you put in YouTube, the copyrights and they hate each other. So yeah, it might be different now because apparently I don't know if you Mr. Beast. You probably heard about it on YouTube. He's plan to buy TikTok.
Oh my gosh, I haven't heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Elon Musk tried to buy TikTok and he said no. And then Mr. B said, you know what? I can find some sponsors and I can help me out. I can buy.
Right.
So we basically own YouTube and now TikTok. Kind of. It is interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I've been in jail and Facebook and Instagram jail. She got a tattoo. Says Instagram jail.
But I guess that just makes you more legit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, it's just normalize it. That's my thing. Let's talk about it. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have noticed a lot of the bigger accounts will send me a message and they're like, you finally made it. Welcome to the club and stuff about being restricted or in jail and stuff because the bigger accounts, for firefighters and first responders, 300,000 followers.
They get
here and there. They get restricted.
It's a guy in Boca Raton. He sells CBD for firefighters. 100% CBD, no THC on it, to help to sleep. And it drops. It's actually amazing guy. I think it's the training captain of Boca Raton Fire Department. CBD Rescue 1. Shout out to the guy. Awesome dude. And he got restricted because he put the word, I think MJ, thinks something on it. Yeah, but the funny thing is he sells CBD, 100% CBD. And he's trying to find a way to go with the IFF and make it like a protocol for fire departments to, that's a CBD, so you don't, you don't get back to the chief office because of that. So much taboo around it. It's stupid. I just.
And you just have to find ways, I guess, around it.
Yeah, like I argue with somebody like you can have somebody literally naked, dancing in a pole,
advertising
sex, the OnlyFans, blah blah. Oh, I got OF, swallow me. But you want to put something about mental health, and you get penalized, cancel. You go into jail. They cancel your account. I guess sex sells, but come on. I know. I tell one of the guys in the peer support we should put a stripper with a mental health T-shirt and see what happens. Hey, it might be you cancel. People might like it. Yeah, that's the world we live in. Unfortunately, that's where we live in. And go Eagles.
What do you say?
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
And let's see, almost an hour. So, what advice you recommend to a firefighter who's brand new on the job and a firefighter is about to retire, from your point of view?
Both are going to be transitions and adjustments. So for the newer, just understanding what you're about to enjoy this job and being aware. The self-awareness is key. So recognizing what PTSD looks like or what ADHD looks like, just being in tune with your body and knowing when something's. So, oh my gosh, that can range from how you're feeling, the way you're thinking, the way you're behaving, the way you're physically feeling, the way you're acting. You need to be in tune with your body and your emotions. So I would say that for the new firefighter. The one in retirement is so huge transition too, because we talked about that sense of purpose and adrenaline. Sometimes you have ADHD, those dopamine hits. And then when you go into retirement, you kind of lose all of that. And if you haven't had any hobbies or activities that you enjoy outside of being a firefighter or first responder, you're just sitting at home. and you feel like you don't have any purpose anymore. You're not hyper aroused as much. You're not put into circumstances that raise your dopamine levels or adrenaline. And so it's kind of like a depleting feeling. And so I would recommend to have hobbies, do things that you enjoy, be able to recognize that that transition is going to be hard if you're not prepared for it. And then you see a lot of health conditions happening too. Once a firefighter, first responder ends up retiring, you hear about, oh, these heart attacks happening or these illnesses coming on. So being aware, again, being in tune with your body, your emotions and your feelings and such. And on both ends, if you're having a hard time with this adjustment, go see a therapist, go see a coach that specializes in this. And we can definitely help you find a sense of purpose and understand these symptoms that you're experiencing and how to cope with it and just create an overall better well-being for yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. That's, yeah. You nail it. It's true. Once you transition to that retirement, you need to find a hobby because if not, you lose your mind.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. Literally.
Literally lose your mind. A lot of, like you said, diseases coming out, heart problems, suicide thoughts, and all that comes because you lose your sense of purpose. Yeah. Especially doing this for like 30, 20 years straight.
Yeah. Yep. That's a huge transition.
That's a great advice.
Maybe being as prepared for it as you can be, earlier on, or like a couple years before actually retiring, maybe going to see somebody or doing some internal work of finding what your purpose will be after being a firefighter, first responder, and cultivating that and recognize that this change is going to happen.
Yeah. Thank you. That's actually great advice, to be honest. Hopefully somebody who's about to retire, I know a few already, that hopefully listen to a podcast and at least get all the way to the end and listen to the advice because it's, you know how it is.
Yes. Oh, I get it. Especially with ADHD. We're like, come on, get to the point.
Yeah, come on. I got this. I got this symptom. Come on, keep going, keep talking. And again, how do people can contact you if they need some coaching or therapy? Where I can find you?
Yeah,
your Instagram account?
Of course, the social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even YouTube. My website for coaching is called Responder Wellness Coaching, and I have a website for that as well. And so you can go on there, contact me, any of my social platforms, you can contact me. It all goes to me. Whatever way feels comfortable, whatever way you want to utilize, I respond. So please reach out to me with any type of questions. I'll be happy to answer or help in any way I can.
And one last question. Who you recommend to be in the podcast that on your field, or maybe a firefighter, or maybe somebody that, you know what, I think this person would be great to talk on the podcast, to share experience, or like you, in your case, share knowledge and expertise. And you travel, so you know a lot of people.
That's a good question. Well, there's a few different people. So like, what experience are you wanting? Like an actual firefighter or a clinician?
Whatever you think.
Here's the other thing is when you leave this question open to an ADHDer, it's so hard to fulfill.
I know. I'm learning for the best.
You're seeing it in live action. Another clinician is Destiny Morris. She's based in California, and she also specializes in first responders. I think she's a marriage and family therapist, so she would be another good one to have on here.
Shout out to her. If you have her contact, I appreciate if you can send it to me, because I have no... But yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. And before we go, one last word that you want to say, advice, whatever you feel, to those people that listen to you at the moment.
Thanks for those who have stayed this long. And if you have ADHD. But no, if you feel like you have any of these symptoms, my best advice is to obviously do something about it. If you're feeling like I'm struggling with these, I need coping strategies, skills, or maybe it's to even go get tested. My other piece of advice is just to seek services, see a therapist or a coach and whatnot. Don't give up if you feel like, oh no, this one didn't work out well, or don't use one for experience and generalize it to all clinicians.
Yeah, perfect. And with that, we say thank you. Cassidy, thank you again for I reach out to you, but thank you for actually making it happen.
Of
I know you
course.
have a busy schedule. I appreciate you being here on the podcast. This will be out in March, April, kind of like that. So I'll let you know with all the details. Like I said, all the videos and stuff. And listeners, thank you for staying that long, 45 minutes. I know it's a retention. It is sometimes hard. And like I said to everybody, I'm not Joe Rogan, so I don't get paid thousand millions of dollars for a podcast. So I'll keep it short and sweet, 4-hour podcast. And please share, subscribe, like all those things that you guys do on internet. And with that, thank you so much. And bye. See ya.